This is a community with a proud working class history, but one which has been blighted by mass unemployment, a chronic shortage of housing and a perception that immigration here is out of control. It is fertile recruiting ground for the BNP, and the party's chairman launching his bid to take over this seat is convinced he stands his best ever chance of entering Westminster politics.
So the place has been terribly treated by the Labour Party. That this is the last chance to stop things getting even worse and turn things around, get a fair play for all the local people who've been paid in all their lives, doesn't matter whether they're white, Sikh, West Indian or whatever.
Labour's Margaret Hodge, who's been this area's MP for the past 16 years, acknowledges the challenge from Nick Giffin is her greatest threat. Indeed, on her pre-election door knocks, it's clear there's only one party she's fighting.
Are you BNP?
I don't know what to vote, actually.
Did you vote BNP last time?
No, didn't.
You didn't. Well, all I'd say to you, it's a real two-horse race this time between us and the BNP.
I know.
And I just think if you had a BNP, MP or BNP council here, you'd have... I know everybody's fed up and frustrated, but it would turn it all into, aggro on the streets and violence.
Barking and Dagenham was once home to the mighty Ford Car Works, which employed 50,000 people. Today there are just 2,000 at Ford's diesel engine plant. The Tory candidate says he wants to put forward a positive message of hope, despite the perception among growing numbers that immigration is somehow at the root of their ills.
All the immigrants that have come into the area, we've been invaded from my generation.
Yeah,
I feel we're in the minority now, and we've been invaded by invitation from the Labour government.
The Lib Dems candidate here is a Nick Giffin biographer and is partly running on an anti-BNP ticket. And UKIP too reserved most of their venom for Giffin. Whatever the other issues are that candidates want to address here, it always comes back to the BNP, to the spectre of Nick Giffin, who they all openly detest, but who they know has tapped into a well of anger over immigration.
Let's take you live to Barking then. Sky's Mark White is there with 5 of the candidates for the seat. Mark.
Yes, Colin, I have to say, during the day today, going out and speaking to many of the people on the streets of Barking and Dagenham, it is that one central issue of immigration that seems to preoccupy so many of them, rightly or wrongly, a feeling that they have somehow been disenfranchised by lots of new people coming into this area. Well, let's speak, as you said, to the 5 candidates for the first time brought together live and exclusive here on Sky News. Margaret Hodge, who has been the MP here for, 16 years now?
16 years.
And also Simon Marcus from the Conservatives, Nick Giffin from the BNP, Dominic Carman from the Lib Dems and Frank Maloney representing UKIP. First of all, Margaret Hodge, how much responsibility do you think you will hold, the Labour Party will hold, if this seat falls to the BNP?
This seat won't fall to the BNP, and what may seem
Well, you say that, you're not as popular as you were, are you?
Oh, well, I'm not sure. I think I am actually very popular, very well known, and I do respond to local people's issues and concern, and you pick that up on the doorstep. What may seem a threat, and it's undoubtedly true, the BNP did get a foothold in the borough in 2006. We're turning into an opportunity to expose the BNP for what they are. They're not concerned with local issues. They're trying to make this a national election. They don't talk to local people. They don't respond to people on the doorstep with their local needs. Expose that and then expel these fascists from our borough.
But you talk about the views on the doorsteps. Many of the people saying to me, though, that it's been 13 years of ignoring a growing problem, and it is a problem, they say, that is now out of control.
Well, let me say 3 things. First of all, 13 years, a lot of good things have happened. We've got new schools, we've got a new hospital, people here have got the minimum wage, and people have got their working tax credit. Secondly, I haven't been ignoring what people are saying on the doorstep. This is an area where the pace of change through migration has been been particularly fast.
Well, they
People
perceive your government has been ignoring them.
Well, I haven't, and I've spoken out on their behalf many, many times. And the third thing to say is nobody can turn the clock back on what's happened here. This is an area which used to be 100% council housing owned, used to be an area where your great-grandmother lived 10 minutes from where you lived. That has changed, and it's because of right to buy and the privatisation of housing.
Okay.
But what we have to do is deal with the issues on the basis of something that's real, something that will bring the community together, not tear it apart, not create division, not incite racism. We want a community which is as close as
it is a real issue.
It is
People
a real
are very concerned about
but
it.
what
Nick,
what I can't do, I'm not running away from the issue. That's why, for example, I have spoken out about fairness in terms of the allocation of housing. I think there ought to be some priority given to local people when you ration what is always going to be a limited pot of housing.
Okay.
I do it on the basis of,
let me just say this,
I do it on the basis of fairness. The BNP choose to do it on the basis of racism.
Well, Nick Giffin, the racist issue to decide for the moment, but is your party even in a fit state to fight this election? You've been through a fairly rancorous High Court episode in recent months. You've had to rewrite your constitution. Your own head of publicity has been arrested by the police, allegedly for a plot to try and kill you. I mean, it seems like a party in utter shambles at the moment.
We are in great shape. We're here, we're standing a very good chance of winning this seat, Stoke Central. We're going to run a fantastic campaign. We're fighting more than double the number of seats we fought last time. Yeah, it's great. Don't you worry. Don't you worry about us. We're fine.
I think people should worry, if I may just comment on that, Mr. Griffin.
Yeah, Dominic, Carman.
A vote for you is a vote for violence. I know your background.
You need to stop this. No, you need to stop this right now because you came along.
No, I think each person is entitled to speak first of all, aren't they, and then for us to have an open debate.
It's a legitimate point, Nick Griffin. I mean, do you think that you really stir up the worst elements in terms of the message you're putting across here? Could it lead to violence, as Dominic says?
The fact is that there are community tensions caused by mass immigration, and that the main political parties have literally conspired for decades to prevent this issue being talked about. It's only now that we're here with a chance to win, making a real difference, that it's finally out in the open. And that's a wonderful safety valve. It's bottling up the way these people used to do. That's the danger.
There are community tensions caused by you, Mr. Griffin, and your violence and your language of violence.
You want to say.
You're an architect of violence. You're someone who encourages violence, wants violence, and
you
wants
are
a
a horrible
race war.
little liar. Let's face it.
You can tell me whatever insults
you
you want, Mr.
besmirched
Griffin.
the memory of your own father to make money selling one book.
Gentlemen, let's keep it a little bit civil if we can.
What we're here to do.
Well, let's talk about that then, shall we? Let's talk about
what I was talking about.
Absolutely. Local issues.
Yeah, I agree with Frank. Actually, we are here. I agree with him.
To be truthful.
Go on.
I'm not a politician. I've been out on the street for the last 6 weeks,
Yep.
and immigration is a big problem here. Housing is a massive problem here, and really, it is down to you, Lady Hodge. You know, you've been here for 13 years. You've actually done more to promote the BNP than anyone else has done. I think you've done more for them than their own predecessors have done. And you know, you should be asking yourself questions. Why has this happened in your 13 years of your watch?
Well, what I would say to you is that the reason the borough has changed a lot is because right to buy came in. If you know the borough, you'll know that, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, this was basically a council housing that was built and for people who worked at Ford's, when Ford's employed 40,000 people, not 4,000 people as they do. Well, there is actually. There is. Before I have to say to you, hang on a minute.
There's no jobs. The crime is up in this borough. No. This is a terrible borough. This is a disgrace on the Labour government. This, all in the city of London is like that.
No, hang on. I've just got to say to you, Frank, don't spread falsehoods. I mean, I don't mind. No, for example, if we take things like crime. No, but I'm walking the streets every day as well. Frank, if you look at
seen you, they've only just started seeing you lately. That's what I'm hearing.
Can we let Simon speak for a minute,
but let me just say this. It's not true, for example, to say that crime is up. And if you keep saying that, you instill...
Crime is up in this borough.
No, it's not up in this borough.
They're up in this borough.
Well, I'm sorry, I have the figures of you.
Crime anymore. That's part of the problem.
Can we let Simon speak?
Let me...
Right, one at a time.